Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture series on group theory. Myself Sudhakar. As you know, we are studying about some important theorems on subgroups. In this lecture also I will consider some other theorems on subgroups. Before that, let us recall what we studied in the previous lectures. So theorem 1, it says that if H and K are any two subsets of a group G, then HK whole inverse is equal to K inverse H inverse. And next result is if H is a subgroup of a group G, then H inverse is equal to H. Next theorem 3, a subset H of a group G is a subgroup of G if and only if H inverse is equal to H. And theorem 4, if H and K are any two subgroups of a group G, then HK is also a subgroup of G if and only if HK is equal to KH. And one thing you should remember always, whenever we are going to prove a subgroup, we are using this result. A non-empty subset H of a group G star is a subgroup of G if for all AB belongs to H implies A star B inverse belongs to H. Or you can say for all AB belongs to H implies AB inverse belongs to H. Now let us consider theorem 5. The intersection of any two subgroups of a group G is a subgroup of G. You should understand this statement carefully. The intersection of any two subgroups of a group G is also a subgroup of G. Okay, we shall prove that. Let us consider any two subgroups of a group G. So we shall take it as H and K. What are H and K? H and K are any two subgroups of a group G. Now, our aim is to prove that H intersection K is a subgroup of G. Now, we know that H intersection K. What is H intersection K? H intersection K, it is the set of all elements of G such that it must be a common element of H and K. That means it must belong to H as well as it must belongs to K. Therefore, H intersection K is the set of all elements X belongs to G such that X belongs to H and X belongs to K. Now, we know that H and K. What are H and K? H and K are subgroups of G. Since H and K are subgroups of G, these two are already groups. Therefore, it contains identity element. Therefore, E belongs to H as well as E belongs to K. So, E belongs to both H and K. Therefore, we can write E belongs to H intersection K. So, at least one element belongs to H intersection K. Therefore, H intersection K is a non-empty set. And also, you note that H intersection K is a subset of G. Okay, now we shall prove H intersection K is a subgroup of G. To prove that, we shall use the result for all A comma B belongs to H implies AB inverse belongs to H. Then we can say H is a subgroup of G. So to prove H intersection K is a subgroup of G, we have to take two elements in H intersection K and we have to show that XY inverse belongs to H intersection K. Okay, let XY be any two elements in H intersection K. This implies XY belongs to H and XY belongs to K. What do you know about H and K? H and K are subgroups of G. Therefore, XY inverse belongs to H and XY inverse belongs to K. So you can write this step because H and K are subgroups of G. Since XY inverse belongs to H and XY inverse belongs to K, therefore XY inverse belongs to H intersection K. Therefore we have proved XY inverse belongs to H intersection K and this is true for all XY belongs to H intersection K. Therefore H intersection K is a subgroup of G. This completes the proof. Now we note a few points. First point is that intersection of any family of subgroups of a group is also a subgroup. So in the theorem we have considered only two subgroups. So if you consider any number of subgroups, again their intersection is also a subgroup of that group. And the second point is union of any two subgroups need not be a subgroup. Union of any two subgroups need not be a subgroup. It may be subgroup or need not be a subgroup. For example, Let us consider 2z plus and 3z plus, or two subgroups of z plus, 2z plus and 3z plus. So now we shall check whether 2z union 3z is a subgroup of z. So 2z union 3z means it contains multiples of 2 as well as multiples of 3. Let us consider any two elements. Let us take 2 and 3 belongs to 2z union 3z. Now what is the binary operation? Binary operation is addition. Okay, we shall consider 2 plus 3. What is 2 plus 3? 5. 5 doesn't belong to 2z union 3z because 2z union 3z contains multiples of 2 and multiples of 3, but it doesn't contain 5. Therefore, closure law is not satisfied. Therefore, 2z union 3z is not a subgroup of z plus. Next, we have another important definition, that is center of a group. The center of a group G is the set of all elements of G that commute with every element of G and is denoted by Z of G. So symbolically, Z of G is nothing but set of all elements of G such that XA is equal to AX. That is nothing but commutative property. XA is equal to AX, and it must be true for all A belongs to G. So Z of G is nothing but set of all elements X belongs to G such that XA is equal to AX, and it must true for all A belongs to G. Then Z of G we call it as center of a group. And you must note that the notation Z of G comes from the German word Zentrum, which means the center. Next we have another definition, that is centralizer of an element in a group. So what is that? Let A be a fixed element of group G. The centralizer of A in G is the set of all elements of G that commute with A, and it is denoted by C of A. So symbolically, C of A is nothing but set of all X belongs to G such that XA is equal to AX. And note that here we don't have for all A belongs to G. If we get for all A belongs to G, then that is nothing but center of a group. But in case of centralizer of an element, this is centralizer of an element. What is that element? A is the set of all X belongs to G such that XA is equal to AX. So what is C of B? Where B is an element of G, then C of B is nothing but set of all X belongs to G such that XB is equal to BX. Okay, now let us consider theorem 6. The center of a group G is a subgroup of G. So we know that what is the center of a group G? It is given by Z of G, that is the set of all elements X belongs to G such that XA is equal to AX, and it is true, it must be true for all A belongs to G. Okay, let us prove Z of G is a subgroup of G. Now we know that EA is equal to AE. What is the E? E is the identity element. Since E is the identity element, EA is always equal to AE, and it is true for every element of G. Therefore, we can say E belongs to Z of G. When we say an element belongs to Z of G, it must satisfy this condition, that is XA is equal to AX, and it must true for all A belongs to G. Here EA is equal to AE, and it is true for all A belongs to G. Therefore, we are saying E belongs to Z of G. Therefore, Z of G is a non-empty set, and also we know that Z of G contains elements of G. Therefore, clearly Z of G is a subset of G. Okay, next we shall prove Z of G is a subgroup of G. Again, we shall use the result for all A comma B belongs to H implies AB inverse belongs to H. Then we say H is a subgroup of G. So to prove Z of G is a subgroup, I have to consider XY or any two elements belongs to Z of G, and we have to prove XY inverse belongs to Z of G. Okay, if X and Y belongs to Z of G, then XA is equal to AX for all A belongs to G, and Ya is equal to Ay for all A belongs to G. Now let us consider XY inverse into A. So to prove XY inverse belongs to Z of G, when we say an element, for example, X belongs to Z of G, if it satisfies XA is equal to AX. So when we say XY inverse belongs to Z of G, if XY inverse of A must be equal to A of XY inverse. Therefore, we shall consider left hand side, that is XY inverse of A, and we have to prove that is equal to A of XY inverse. Okay, consider XY inverse of A. Now using associative law, this can be written as X of Y inverse A. So X of Y inverse A. Okay, now we have Ya is equal to Ay for all A belongs to G. Now multiply on left as well as right by Y inverse on both sides. So what we get? Y inverse of Ya into Y inverse is equal to Y inverse of Ay into Y inverse. Now again it can be written as Y inverse Y of Ay inverse is equal to Y inverse A of Y inverse. We know that Y inverse Y is nothing but E. Similarly, Y inverse nothing but E. Therefore, what we get? E of Ay inverse is equal to Y inverse A of E. So, any element into identity element, I get same element. Therefore, Ay inverse is equal to Y inverse A for all A belongs to G. Therefore, in the previous step we had X of Y inverse A. So that can be written as X of Ay inverse because of this result. So using associative law, this can be written as XA of Y inverse, and it is true for all A belongs to G. And again we know that XA can be written as AX. Therefore this is equal to AX of Y inverse, and it is true for all A belongs to G. Again we shall use associative law. This can be written as A of XY inverse. It is true for all A belongs to G. Therefore we got XY inverse of A is equal to A of XY inverse, and it is true for all A belongs to G. Now it is of the form XA is equal to AX, and it is true for all A belongs to G. If we have the statement like this, we say that X belongs to Z of G. Therefore here in place of X I have XY inverse. Therefore clearly XY inverse belongs to Z of G, and it is true for all XY belongs to Z of G. Therefore we conclude that Z of G is a subgroup of G. Okay, similarly you try to prove that centralizer of an element of a group G is a subgroup of G.